fellow freedom lovers worldwide. We're broadcasting worldwide on this live edition of the Alex Jones Show, Sunday, May 17th, 2015. Now, there's a lot we're going to be breaking down today. We're going to cut back in a moment to the studio and David Knight live, breaking down the latest news and information. And then I'll return tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. with a weekday broadcast. But the first thing I want to talk about today is why are the people and why are governors and senators and House members not trusting Obama, Homeland Security, and the leadership of the Pentagon when they promise that there's nothing nefarious with military operations like Jade Helm? It's because we live in a climate where we've been lied to on so many fronts over and over again, and we've seen Washington engaged in dictatorial power grabs at a monumental level across the board. And we see a dinosaur mainstream media that continues to arrogantly say they've never lied, they've never deceived, and they don't work for special interest, and that anyone that questions the official narrative is a tyrant. Now, before I get into some of these latest lies, let's just talk about the new Mad Max movie that I've now had a chance to see so that we can critique that. It's okay if one movie out of 10 has an anti-male, anti-family, woman cult worldview. It's that every major movie coming out now, and the video game industry and others admit that there is a directive by the suits, by the old men that run it, to make it about a women against men paradigm. And in this movie, all the men are genocided by the women because men are inherently bad and women are inherently good. And it's every new movie that comes out where they advertise it's some movie with a guy, because women and men like to go watch heroes. That's just a fact worldwide. They lie and say it's a movie about guys fighting, and you go see it, and it is a movie about how men are inherently bad. Listen, I'm not in a war against women. It's divide and conquer by the globalists. That's simple. They're dividing us along every line, and there's so much propaganda. It's come out now last week that the NFL is paid every time they make a touchdown to cut to troops in the audience to create a Pavlovian event so you associate your team winning or a touchdown with troops. And my point is, just be aware of the propaganda. I'm not against women having their rights. I'm not against troops. I am saying be aware of the manipulation and the control that's taking place, and realize that in the name of a lot of good things that are pushed, we're being sold a lot of bad things. Let's go over here to the computer and let's look at some of these latest news articles on this Sunday edition. Arctic ice shelf could crumble, says NASA study. They never even develop new lies. They know the public doesn't know how ice shelves work, how glaciers work, north and south, the Arctic, the Antarctic. And when Al Gore got his Nobel Prize in 2007 for his film An Inconvenient Truth, which has been proven to be a total fraud, you know, saying that polar bears can't swim and stuff like that, when their numbers are up fivefold since 1955. Look it up. Just type in polar bear numbers explode worldwide, you know, from Russia to the north of Canada. And he got up there and said that within 7 years, we're going to see this particular ice cap totally melt. Well, we're going to show you the satellite shots of the Arctic and Antarctic, where they've both gotten bigger since 2007 in that speech. The truth is, rain and snow fall on them, they build up, and then they slough off and flow to the sea. They always have. You can read Roman accounts of being, you know, in the north of Europe on the coastlines exploring and seeing mountains collapsing into the ocean. I mean, this goes on. Polar bears are the greatest land animal swimmer. They don't drown. Penguins are not all dying in the south. And I assure you this is what glaciers do. Al Gore's been proven to be wrong. We're going to show you some of the satellite images in a moment from NASA. Now NASA has come out, meaning they're politicalized scientists. So we don't send humans to space anymore. That's all for robots, so we just get dictated to by NASA. That the ocean's going to rise 11 feet, and basically there'll be water in Austin, Texas in most areas. I mean, just crazy made-up bull. If one piece of the southern Antarctic glacier breaks off. So let's go over some of these articles. This is Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera was here in town interviewing me last week. They looked at me straight face and said, there is no gun control. There is no move to take guns in America. You're making it up, Mr. Jones. The peace airs next week. And I said, no, there are gun bans in all these cities. The Brady campaign says they want our guns. And they go, no, they don't. Just like they're going along with the lie that the Arctic ice shelf could crumble, says NASA study, and we'll be under, all this water. Myth of Arctic meltdown. Stunning satellite images show ice cap is thicker and covers 1.7 million square kilometers. Look, and it's the same thing for the South. This is the Arctic ice shelf. This is 2012, and you can see this is 2014. Much bigger, with the entire northern passage for ships completely blocked off. I mean, that is a fact that he said that by 2013 it would be completely gone, and it's now the biggest ever recorded by satellites. Here it is, CNN. Study raises concerns over big, rapidly thinning Antarctic ice. And they first said this back in March, but it was back on TV today, so I went and looked it up. Okay, let's continue. Here's Al Gore saying that the experts were saying that it was all going to be melted by 2013. Here is that audio and video.
The third and the fourth and the consistent conclusion, restated with increasing distress, is that something basic is wrong. We are what is wrong, and we must make it right. Last September 21st, as the northern hemisphere tilted away from the sun, scientists reported with unprecedented alarm that the North Polar ice cap is, in their words, falling off a cliff. One study estimated that it could be completely gone during summer in less than 22 years. Another new study, to be presented by U.S. Navy researchers later this week, warns it could happen in as little as 7 years. 7 years from now.
There he is. This is the same Nobel Committee that gave Henry Kissinger an award. Now we're going to go to a break in a moment and come back with David Knight and go to part two of my report here. But I'm going to continue the time I have left to break this down. We'll be going about 7 minutes here. All right, now continuing, there is Al Gore. Now this is the rich eugenicists that give Henry Kissinger an award for peace when he's a total warmonger. This is the eugenicists that want to be able to organize a global government around taxing all carbon while ignoring all the serious, real environmental things that are happening. Okay, let's continue. They're the same ones ramming through what Republicans are pushing with Obama right now. Republicans claim enough votes to pass fast-track trade bill, even though it just failed in the Senate. Now, let's continue. This is the same elite that aren't sending humans into space now, that are saying everything will be done by machines in the future, that humans really weren't that good, that they're going to merge with computers. These are human-hating scum. And then we read about the incredible drought in California and other areas, and I've had meteorologists on from California who show the videos and show that the Doppler feed of wet weather systems coming in that would normally rain on the state and the whole West Coast. And then these aircraft take off on radar and go and fly in front of it. You can just type in chemtrails and NASA satellite videos, photos, and block the weather systems. And I've had Ben Livingston, the father of weather weapons, on when it was declassified a decade ago, admitting that in the 60s they could control and steer and create or kill hurricanes. And his job was to dry out the north of Vietnam and starve them, but flood the central areas where the war was going on. That's all declassified. Meanwhile, they call me a kook and dangerous in Salon for talking about weather modification, the fact that it's a real science now basically perfected, geoengineering. But HAARP itself is able to ignite the atmosphere. It's so powerful. I've had the director of HAARP on the broadcast. Now, let's just continue here. You have all these huge shadow projects going on that are incredibly classified. But the patents on all of these Eastland systems admit, with these Tesla technologies, that it can literally turn the atmosphere into a weapon system. And there is the article attacking me, amongst other things, for saying that there's weather control. All right, now, This, if you're watching us on TV, if you're a radio listener, just search UN Treaty on Weather Weapons, 1978, Convention on Prohibition of Military and/or Hostile Use of Environmental Modification Techniques, and it goes through all the signatories that go over this. And now that we're back from break, again, I just want to direct all the TV viewers and all of the radio listeners to go look up the Weather Weapon Convention. You can also look up Secretary of Defense William Cohen admitting that they have weather weapons, admitting that they had developed those and that other governments had. Because you need to understand, we just don't say, hey, it looks like California's a weather weapon. Dubai, Saudi Arabia and others have already begun greening hundreds of thousands, in some cases millions of acres, by putting up towers like HARP that actually energize the atmosphere in a way that makes the water particulate, the nuclei, come together, or it resonates potash and sand and things in the atmosphere to make them resonate where water sticks to it. Okay, you just spray other chemicals, it makes water disperse and not form droplets. They're now creating the first domed cities in the Middle East and Dubai and other areas. But here, we're going backwards. And here, people are so ignorant, they don't even know this stuff exists. Here's a headline, Daily Mail. Could clouds be zapped by a laser to stop it raining? Scientists to discuss plans to control the weather. Here's another one. Dubai to build temperature-controlled city, world's largest shopping mall. Again, that's the Weather Channel. Here's another one. The Atlantic, the science behind human-controlled weather. Now, they go on to say, hey, geoengineering could save us from global warming. They're trying to introduce it to the public like it's brand new. And they're like, oh, Bill Gates has a big company that can control hurricanes and can make it snow or make it rain. When there's Department of Energy programs and others that we know exist but that are classified, spending one program $5 billion a year to manipulate the weather. And that's what I'm getting at here today. We're not living in 1942. We're living in 2015, and the elites, in their own words, have compartmentalized incredible technologies and not deployed them to the public. Anything we are given, whether it's a new thermostat or an iPhone, is Trojan horse designed to track, control, and run our lives and tax us. All the new cars are coming out to tax you by the mile. Told you that 15 years ago. This is a very predatory system, but they're leaving the baubles, the entertainment, the trinkets, the ceremonial vestiges of liberty there. So the public is basically playing and having a good time while the globalists have the incredible scientific breakthroughs, build their technological reservations, build their corporate reservations separate from humanity. We have a breakaway civilization taking place. And people need to force a major debate about this. And that's why Jade Helm is so exciting, because we can force a debate about militarization of police. We can force a debate about federalization. We can force a debate about Obama acting unilaterally, even outside of executive orders, on the borders, on energy, on guns. And people are getting fed up with the power structure, even though they don't know 1/10 of what's really going on. They understand that things aren't right, and they have a bad feeling. And so the mainstream media, the corporate media, is going to engage in disinformation, damage control, and is going to misrepresent what we say and do, and is going to cherry pick what we say and do to try to demonize us. Because Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com and Jakari Jackson and David Knight and Leanne McAdoo and the rest of the great crew are simply saying what the public's already thinking and pointing it out. We're not even connecting the dots now. We are simply breaking down the fact that there are control freaks and social engineers that really enjoy manipulating our civilization and our future, and it's a very anti-human future and civilization that's being built. Now I'm going to throw it back live here on the Sunday broadcast, 4 to 6 p.m. I did the Sunday show last week. I'm only doing part of it here today. I've got some family in town, and I'll be back, Lord willing, tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central with a weekday transmission. But David Knight's got a bunch of news on the TPP, all these globalist treaties, the latest on them trying to start race riots in Cleveland. We're probably going to be sending our reporters there, and so much more. But whatever you do, don't take independent media for granted. Spread the word about Infowars.com. Start your own small media operation. It will grow. Whatever you do, speak up, be heard, vote with your dollars, support transparency and freedom, and realize that the corporate media has gone completely rogue with the rogue government. They know they've committed crimes, and they're going for broke. They are cornered. They are very, very dangerous. And they want to keep you ignorant about science, about weather modification, about social engineering, about social Darwinism, about how they're using anthropology to control us. They want to keep you ignorant about militarization of police or the Army's admission that they're being given the mission to take on the American people. That's why the public's concerned, because a minority of the public of every race, color, and creed is aware of what's happening and is concerned. And no amount of demonization is going to ever shut that down. You may have 50% of people that'll be happy to be slaves, but a large portion of the other 50 will not comply and go along with it. And that's why the power structure has become so arrogant. They think they're invincible, but they're starting to find out that that's not the case. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and throw back to David Knight here today on the Sunday broadcast. I want to thank you all for your support. InfoWars is under unprecedented attack right now by the establishment media, because what we're saying is so on target, and we couldn't be getting this word out or funding this operation without your help. So I want to thank you all today for what you've done. I want to, in closing, encourage all of you to visit InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com. That's how we pay for the websites, the news, the reporters, the equipment, the servers, the infrastructure, the operation. Is you purchasing the high-quality products. We've got 20% off on some of the most amazing nutraceuticals out there, like Super Male and Super Female Vitality. We've got some other discounts running as well. We have the new ProstaGuard, formulated to have a fusion of 10 ingredients known to really help your prostate and supercharge your body. And it's all available at InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. And again, we couldn't do it without you. Please tell folks about the free podcast. Please tell folks about InfoWars.com/show, where there's the free video feed. Tell folks about the YouTube channels with about 1 billion views total, 500 plus million on one channel. The truth is popular, and as Ron Paul says, we can legalize freedom again. So I want to salute all of you for your support and your prayers. I'm Alex Jones, signing off from the front lines of the InfoWar. My name is Alex Jones. Most of you know me from my syndicated radio program and my documentary films, as well as InfoWars Nightly News. When I got on air 20 years ago, I had discovered the globalist program, their plan to take over the world and install a corporate fascist state. I had read their own books, discovered their own documents, and my focus went from running 6 miles every other day, swimming 2-3 miles a couple times a week, and lifting weights, to focusing on fighting the globalists. I transformed my body from the beautiful gift that God gave me into something more akin to Jabba the Hutt. It became an internet joke. But now I've started the transformation back, getting my body, my temple in shape, and I'm about to tell you how I did it. I've gone from 279 pounds all the way down to 235 pounds, and the weight's going off even faster. I started taking Super Male Vitality and saw incredible results in just a few weeks. The problem was, though, I'd never been a vitamin and mineral and supplement taker before, so I kept forgetting to do it. So after I'd lost over 60 pounds, just a month and a half ago, I asked the crew to take a photo of me in the same lighting to see what I could do in just a month and a half. This is what happened in just 45 days. We took this photo back there in the back office, and I'd already lost a lot of weight, but I lost another 6 pounds with the Oxy powder and the other products at InfoWarsLife.com, and this photo was just taken a few days ago. And it wasn't just that my weight loss accelerated. My muscle mass increased. My stamina, my energy levels exploded. Super Male has the key concentrated natural compounds that my body needed to go to the next level. Today is the day to take the InfoWarsLife.com challenge and to secure your bottle of Super Male or Super Female Vitality. We've got to get our temple straight before we can go out and fight the globalists, and that's what these products have helped me do. Check them out today at InfoWarsLife.com or give our crew a call. They can answer all your questions or tell you about any of the specials at 888-253-3139. View. It's that every major movie coming out now, and the video game industry and others admit that there is a directive by the suits, by the old men that run it, to make it about a women against men paradigm. And in this movie, all the men are genocided by the women because men are inherently bad and women are inherently good. And it's every new movie that comes out where they advertise it's some movie with a guy, because women and men like to go watch heroes. That's just a fact. World PM with a weekday broadcast. But the first thing I want to talk about today is, why are the people and why are governors and senators and House members not trusting Obama, Homeland Security, and the leadership of the Pentagon when they promise that there's nothing nefarious with military operations like Jade Helm? It's because we live in a climate where we've been lied to on so many fronts over and over again, and we've seen Washington engaged in dictatorial power grabs at a monumental level across the board. And we see a dinosaur mainstream media that continues to arrogantly say they've never lied, they've never deceived, and they don't work for special interest, and that anyone that questions the official narrative is a tyrant. Now, before I get into some of these latest lies, let's just talk about the new Mad Max movie that I've now had a chance to see so that we can critique that. It's okay if one movie out of 10 has an anti-male, anti-family, woman cult worldwide. They lie and say it's a movie about guys fighting, and you go see it, and it is a movie about how men are inherently bad. Listen, I'm not in a war against women. It's divide and conquer by the globalists. That's simple. They're dividing us along every line, and there's so much propaganda. It's come out now last week that the NFL is paid every time they make a touchdown to cut to troops in the audience to create a Pavlovian event so you associate your team winning or a touchdown with troops. My friends, my fellow freedom lovers worldwide, we're broadcasting worldwide on this live edition of the Alex Jones Show, Sunday, May 17th, 2015. Now, there's a lot we're going to be breaking down today. We're going to cut back in a moment to the studio and David Knight live, breaking down the latest news and information. And then I'll return tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 2